Let me ask you something before we start. Do you know what you had for breakfast this morning? I mean really know. Not the brand name, not the label on the box, but what that food is actually doing inside your body right now as you're watching this. Because I'm about to tell you something that might make you set your coffee down. My name is Raymond Costa. I'm 94 years old. I was born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, back in 1932, and I'm still here, still walking 2 miles every morning before the sun comes up, still cooking every meal with my own 2 hands. My doctor told me last month that my blood work looks better than most 40-year-olds he sees in his office. And you know what I told him? I said, "Doc, I already know why." But here's the thing that's going to bother you. I wasn't supposed to make it this far. Nobody in my family did. My brother Frank died of a heart attack at 61. My brother Vincent got eaten alive by diabetes at 58. 3 boys, same mother, same kitchen, same food on the table every single night for 20 years, and I'm the only one left standing. So why am I here and they're not? That's the question I'm going to answer for you right now. And I promise you, by the time we're done, you're going to look at your refrigerator completely differently. Because at least 3 of the 6 foods I'm about to tell you about are probably sitting in there right this second. One of them is something your doctor has likely told you to eat more of. And number 4, the World Health Organization puts it in the same cancer category as cigarettes and asbestos. One of them is something your doctor has likely told you to eat more of. And number 4, the World Health Organization puts it in the same cancer category as cigarettes and asbestos. I'm not making that up. I'll prove it to you in a few minutes. But first, I want to tell you about the food that almost killed me at 52. Because this one is going to surprise the hell out of you. Food number 1, store-bought orange juice. All right, stay with me here. I know what you're thinking. Orange juice, the stuff that comes from oranges, that's the killer? Yeah, that's the killer. And let me tell you how I figured it out. I was 52 years old, sitting at the dinner table with my wife Maria, eating what I genuinely believed was the healthiest meal a man could put together. Grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, and a big cold glass of orange juice. If you'd walked into my kitchen that night, you'd have patted me on the back and told me I was doing everything right. That's how good this meal looked. But I want you to picture something for a second. Imagine you took a can of Coca-Cola and you took a glass of store-bought orange juice and you lined them up on the counter. Which one do you think has more sugar? Most people would bet their paycheck on the Coke, but the truth is they're almost identical. A can of Coke has about 39 grams of sugar. A tall glass of store-bought orange juice has around 21 grams. I was drinking 2 glasses every single morning, which means I was pounding more sugar into my body before 9 a.m. than the American Heart Association says a grown man should have in an entire day. Their limit is 36 grams. I was clearing that before I even left the house. And here's where it gets worse, so I need you to listen carefully. When they make that juice in those big factories, they strip out the fiber, all of it. And fiber, my friend, is the brake system that stops sugar from slamming into your bloodstream all at once. Without it, that juice hits you like a freight train. Your pancreas goes into a panic, your insulin shoots up, your liver starts frantically turning the extra sugar into belly fat. And over the years, this builds into something called insulin resistance. That's the front door to type 2 diabetes. And I was walking through it without even knowing. Want to know something crazy? The British Medical Journal did a huge study on this, and they found that people who drank 1 or more servings of fruit juice daily had a 21% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes than people who just ate the whole fruit instead. 21% from something that says 100% natural right on the carton. The USDA says the average American drinks about 10 gallons of orange juice every year, and most of them honestly think they're doing their body a favor. I was one of those people for 30 years. 30 years, friend. And by 52, my blood sugar was a mess, and my doctor was already whispering the word pre-diabetes at me. But look, quitting the juice was just the beginning, because the second food I'm going to tell you about was sitting on my dinner table every single night of my childhood. And it might actually be worse than the juice. Ready? Food number 2. White bread. Okay, now I need you to think back to your own childhood for a second. Did your mom keep white bread in the house? Was there always a loaf sitting on top of the fridge, wrapped in that plastic bag with the twist tie? Yeah, mine too. And I'm telling you right now, that loaf of bread was a silent killer walking around dressed up as a family staple. My mother, Angela, was a hard-working woman who raised 3 boys on a janitor's salary in Brooklyn. She fed us the best she could, and every meal in our house started with white bread. Breakfast, white bread with butter. Lunch, sandwiches on white bread. Dinner, white rolls in a basket at the middle of the table. That was the rhythm of our house for 20 years. And when I grew up and had my own family, I did the exact same thing. Why wouldn't I? It was how we always did it. But here's a question for you. You know what the glycemic index of pure white table sugar is? It's 65. Now guess what white bread scores. Just guess. Go ahead, I'll wait. The answer is 75. That means white bread spikes your blood sugar 10 points higher and faster than actually eating sugar straight off the spoon. I had to hear that fact 3 separate times before my brain would even accept it. Here's what happens in the factory. They take the wheat and they strip out the bran and the germ, which is where every single nutrient lives. The fiber, the vitamins, the minerals, all gone. What's left is basically naked starch, and your body converts it into glucose faster than candy does. Harvard followed over 70,000 women for 12 years and found that the ones who ate the most white bread had significantly higher rates of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. The numbers are right there in the research. I'm not making this up. So every morning, every lunch, every dinner of my childhood, I was basically eating candy dressed up as bread, and my mother had no idea she was doing it to us because her mother had done the same thing to her. 3 generations of women passing down a tradition that was slowly taking years off everyone's life. My brother Frank ate white bread every single day until the morning his heart gave out at 61. Vincent did the same, and diabetes took him at 58. And me? I was next in line. I was absolutely next, until I went to Italy. There was a woman in Sardinia, this tiny, wrinkled old lady who didn't speak a word of English, and she baked her own bread every morning from whole grain spelt and chickpea flour. It was dense, chewy, and honestly, the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. But more importantly, it didn't wreck my blood sugar. Researchers have actually studied Sardinian sourdough bread and found it has a lower glycemic response than modern whole wheat because the fermentation process breaks down the starches before you even eat it. These people have been getting it right for hundreds of years, while America has been getting it wrong for 50. Now I want you to really pay attention to this next one, because this is where I stop being sad and start getting angry. This food has been lied about to American families for over half a century, and the companies selling it know exactly what they're doing. Ready for this? Food number 3, breakfast cereal. Cereal. The stuff in the colorful boxes with the cartoon characters on the front. The stuff your parents poured for you every morning before school. And the stuff you're probably still pouring for your own kids right this second. Let me tell you about a guy I used to work with. His name was Danny Morales, and he was on my crew at a manufacturing plant in New Jersey back in 1985. Danny was 29 years old, built like a tank, could outwork any 2 guys on the floor. And Danny ate cereal every single morning for breakfast. Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Honey Nut Cheerios, whatever was on sale. He honestly thought he was eating right, because the box literally said, part of a balanced breakfast, in big bold letters. You've seen those words before, right? Of course you have. We all have. Here's what happened to Danny. Pre-diabetes at 32, insulin injections by 38, 2 toes amputated by 44. A man who should have been at the absolute peak of his life was watching his body fall apart, and the weapon that did it was sitting in a cereal bowl on his kitchen counter every single morning. Now let me hit you with a number that's going to make you uncomfortable. The Environmental Working Group found that 1 serving of many popular cereals contains more sugar than a Twinkie. You heard me, more than a Twinkie. And who eats just 1 serving? Nobody. You pour that bowl, you fill it to the top, and you're probably eating 2 or 3 servings without even thinking about it. That means a lot of Americans are starting their day with the sugar equivalent of 3 Twinkies and calling it a healthy breakfast. But the sugar is only half of it. These cereals are made from refined grains that get blasted at crazy high temperatures, which destroys almost all the nutritional value. What ends up in your bowl is basically crunchy, colorful air. Empty calories that shoot your blood sugar up, crash your energy by 10 in the morning, and send you running to the vending machine before lunch. The University of California put out a report showing that over 90% of breakfast cereals marketed to children have poor nutritional quality. 90%, my friend. 3 generations of families poisoning themselves with breakfast and thinking they were doing the right thing. So what do I eat now at 94? 2 eggs cooked slow in good olive oil, a handful of fresh vegetables, 1 slice of real whole grain bread. Sometimes I crumble feta on top. 30 years ago, I would have laughed at that breakfast. Today, it's keeping me alive. But listen, Everything I just told you about juice and bread and cereal, that's the small stuff. The next food is the one that tore a hole in my life that never fully healed. My hands still shake when I talk about it. So before I go there, I need you to promise me something. I need you to really hear what I'm about to say, because this one is going to change the way you shop for groceries forever. Food number 4, processed meats, salami, pepperoni, bologna, hot dogs, bacon. Those 5 words built my entire childhood. I grew up Italian-American in Brooklyn, and in my family, processed meats weren't just food. They were who we were. Salami hanging in the kitchen, pepperoni on Friday night pizza, bologna sandwiches in my school lunch bag, hot dogs at Coney Island every summer, bacon every Saturday morning, with my mother humming along to the radio. You didn't question these foods. To question them would have been like questioning your own last name. But then 2015 happened, and the World Health Organization dropped a bomb that most of America still hasn't really absorbed. They classified processed meats as a Group 1 carcinogen. Now I need you to understand what Group 1 means. You know what else is in Group 1? Tobacco, asbestos, plutonium. That's the club your breakfast bacon belongs to. The WHO found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat a day, which is about 2 slices of bacon or 1 hot dog, raises your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. They looked at over 800 studies from 10 countries before they made that call. 800 studies. This isn't some guy guessing. And this is where I have to tell you about Tony Russo. Tony was my best friend in the world. We met when we were 14 years old, running around Bensonhurst, getting into trouble we had no business getting into. He was the funniest man I ever knew, the most loyal friend anybody could ask for, and the most stubborn eater I ever met in my life. Tony ate processed meat almost every single day. Salami sandwiches for lunch, pepperoni pizza Friday nights, sausage and eggs Sunday mornings. 40 years of that routine. Tony was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer at 63. The doctor said it spread because the early symptoms looked like regular digestive problems, so nothing got caught in time. They operated, they did the chemo. Tony was gone by 65. And I need to tell you something that I've only told a few people in my whole life. During one of my last visits to that hospital, Tony grabbed my hand from the bed. He was thin as paper at that point, couldn't barely squeeze back. He looked up at me with these hollow, tired eyes, and he said 7 words. Just 7 words. He said, "Ray, I thought it was just food." I'm going to carry those 7 words to my grave, because nobody told him. The information was out there. The studies existed. But the processed meat industry in America pulls in over $34 billion a year, and they spend whatever it takes to keep the cancer link buried under marketing and labels that say natural and uncured, like those words somehow mean your body won't process the chemicals the exact same way. Here's the science in plain English. Processed meats contain sodium nitrate and sodium nitrite as preservatives. When those compounds meet high heat from cooking or the acid in your stomach, they turn into something called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are powerful carcinogens. They damage the cells lining your colon, and if you eat them over and over for years and decades, your cancer risk climbs. However, I'm not telling you to go vegan. I still eat meat. I've eaten meat my whole life. But there's a canyon between a fresh piece of grilled chicken or wild salmon and a hot dog that's been sealed in plastic with a chemistry lab's worth of preservatives for 6 months. One feeds you, the other one is slowly killing you. And speaking of things that are slowly killing people who think they're being healthy, wait till you hear about number 5. Because I was eating this one on my doctor's orders. Food number 5, flavored yogurt. My doctor sat me down in my 60s and said, "Raymond, your bones need calcium. Eat yogurt every day." So I drove straight to the grocery store and grabbed what I thought was the smartest choice on the shelf. Beautiful little container, strawberries on the front, big friendly words saying low fat, an excellent source of calcium. I felt like a genius buying it. I felt like I was finally taking control of my health. I ate that flavored yogurt every single day for almost 3 years. Then my granddaughter Sophia came home from Rutgers, where she was studying nutrition, and she changed everything. She opened my fridge, picked up the yogurt container, flipped it around, read the label on the back, and all the color drained out of her face. Grandpa said, "This thing has 26 grams of sugar in it." I told her she was reading it wrong. She wasn't. 26 grams of sugar crammed into one tiny 6-ounce container. For comparison, a full-size Reese's peanut butter cup has 22 grams. 22. My health food had more sugar than chocolate candy. I sat there holding that container, and I felt like somebody had punched me in the chest. BMJ Open did a whole study on this and found that flavored yogurts in the United States average about 20 grams of sugar per serving, and some brands go past 30. The global yogurt market is worth over $50 billion, and most of that money depends on people like me believing we're eating something healthy. Parents give these to toddlers as afternoon snacks. Doctors recommend them to old people for our bones. School cafeterias serve them as the healthy dessert. Meanwhile, it's just ice cream with a medical degree printed on the label. But here's the part that really got me angry. Research from Tufts University showed that eating too much sugar actually blocks your body from absorbing calcium properly. Let that land for a second. The sugar in my flavored yogurt was probably canceling out the calcium I was eating the yogurt to get. I was eating this stuff to strengthen my bones, and it may have been doing the exact opposite the entire time. So I threw every container in the trash. Now I eat plain Greek yogurt, full fat, 0 added sugar. I drop in a little raw honey when I want it sweet, or I toss in walnuts and blueberries. 30 seconds to make, tastes better, and it actually does what yogurt is supposed to do. All right, last one. And I'll warn you right now, this one is going to upset a lot of people, because half the country drinks it every single day. But I'm 94 years old. What are they going to do? Cancel me? Food number 6, diet soda. I drank diet soda for 15 years. From my mid-40s to my early 60s, 2 cans a day minimum, sometimes 3 on a hot day. And I felt proud every time I cracked one open. I thought I was being smart. I thought I'd beaten the system by cutting out the real sugar version. I was doing my body a favor, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Sophia showed me a study from the University of Texas that tracked diet soda drinkers for nearly a decade. The finding hit me like a brick. People who drank diet soda every day had a 67% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes than people who avoided it. 67% higher from a drink with 0 calories and 0 sugar. Looked at her and said, "How is that even possible?" Here's how. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose are hundreds of times sweeter than real sugar. When they hit your tongue, your brain thinks sugar is coming and tells your pancreas to get ready. Your body dumps insulin into your bloodstream to deal with the incoming sugar. But the sugar never shows up. Do this once, no big deal. Do this 3 times a day for 15 years, and your whole metabolic system gets worn out and confused. You end up with the same insulin resistance that regular sugar causes, just taking a different road to get there. And it gets worse. The journal Nature published a study in 2014 showing that artificial sweeteners actually change the bacteria in your gut. Your gut bacteria run everything from your digestion to your immune system to your mood, and these chemicals reshape them in ways that promote glucose intolerance. Your own body starts working against you. On top of all that, cola drinks contain phosphoric acid, which the Framingham osteoporosis study linked to lower bone density in women who drank it daily. At my age, my bones are everything. Strong bones mean I stay in my own house. Weak bones mean one bad fall and a nursing home. I'm not interested in a nursing home. I quit diet soda cold turkey at 62. Within 3 months, my digestion was better, my bloating was gone, my energy leveled out, and those afternoon crashes I'd been fighting for a decade just vanished. Now I drink water, green tea in the morning, and 1 small glass of red wine with dinner, just like the old men in Sardinia do. So where does this leave you? Look, I know this was a lot. I know I just took 6 foods you probably eat every week and told you they might be hurting you. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to save you. Because I buried my wife Maria, my brothers Frank and Vincent, and my best friend Tony Russo. I've watched the people I love die from this stuff, and I don't want you to go through the same thing. Here's the beautiful part. You don't have to fly to Italy. You don't need a nutritionist. You don't need a fancy app. You just need to pick up whatever you're about to eat and ask yourself one honest question. Would your great-grandmother recognize this as food? If the answer is no, put it back. That's it. That's the whole secret. Your heart will thank you. Your gut will thank you. Your bones will thank you. And maybe, just maybe, you'll still be around at 94 to tell somebody else what I just told you, before it's too late. If you're still watching this, you clearly care about being alive long enough to see your grandkids grow up, and I respect that more than you know.